Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com. Going to do something a little bit different today, more of a business type of video. We're not going to really talk about wristwatches. Going to be talking about my top 10 tips for entrepreneurs. And why is it 10? I don't know, I was kind of thought of a bunch of ideas and it happened to be 10. Kind of weird. But I'm going to give them in no particular order. In case you don't know who I am, I started an online wristwatch business at LongIslandWatch.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Long Island Watch. You can follow the channel here, hit the bell, subscribe, etc. And also my own house brand at Islander Watch. But I started this business almost 20 years ago at this point, and I feel like over the years I've definitely gotten some nuggets of wisdom. So I wanted to share them with you. Hopefully, if you're looking to start a business or just want to hear what I have to say, you could, check out what I've got. So, number one, run lean. Like I said, no particular order. So the first one I want to talk about is running lean. And this is how I've pretty much always run my business from the time I started. In the beginning, it was solely me. What does running lean mean? Well, it means what you think it means. Run lean in personnel. Run lean in overhead costs. You always hear about entrepreneurs starting out of the garage or the basement, whatever. I took over a bedroom in a house, in the house that we were living in at the time. Desk and computer, and had a little rack of watches that I was shipping. I didn't hire anybody at the time. It was all on me. So in case times were slow, well, I guess I didn't have to lay anybody off because it was only me. And I really didn't have any big bills to make in the beginning. Of course, now over the years, there's payroll and rent and everything else. But it was different back then, and I feel like most entrepreneurs do start that way. You hear about ramen noodle diet and all other stuff. Well, I was married at the time when I started the business, but I definitely didn't want to throw myself out there and incur too many costs that would continue on into the future. So my first thing I like to say is run lean. Number two, and this should be obvious, follow a passion or a like. Follow something that you actually enjoy. I enjoy wristwatches, always been a collector. It kind of happened that I made a business around it. But if you go into something that you abhor, you're not going to excel at it because you're not going to want to do it. You hear people stuck in dead-end jobs. I hate my job, this and that. If you're going to start being an entrepreneur, which means leaving your 40-hour business, 40-hour work week, and signing up for an 80-hour work week or more, you should really like what you do. So that's definitely find what drives you inside and just figure out a way, I guess, to monetize that. It's not all about the money, of course, but in the end, that's why you do these things, is to sustain yourself and give yourself a little mental enjoyment at the same time. So follow a passion or a like. Number three, grow organically. What the heck does that mean? Well, kind of like with number one, with running lean, grow organically means grow slow. Take it in stride such that you can handle it. I've alluded to this before. There was a great UPS commercial on years ago where a guy clicks a button. He says, "Okay, we're online." And it's got a little on the screen. It says orders received, and it goes to 1, and they all scream, and it goes 2, 3, and then it skyrockets, and they all look at each other, and go, "What the hell are we gonna do?" Grow organically. It means no big acquisitions. Take it in slow steps, because if you explode in growth, maybe you can't handle the business, and maybe you're not cut out for the business. Take it from me. I never went to business school, engineering school. So everything I see is an engineering problem. So I've been handling it as such. So if you grow slow, you can adapt and you won't get overwhelmed. Because when you get overwhelmed, that's when other things fall by the wayside. Get overwhelmed, maybe if you're in the retail business like I am, customer service will fall by the wayside. And then if it just becomes a drag on your life, you're not going to be happy. It's going to no longer be a passion. All these things eventually will intertwine. But then, it's kind of like, investing, right? You're investing in yourself. You're taught to, when you start a job, to put away for your future. And if it only grows at, 7% a year, well, it doesn't sound like much. But in 4 years, when you look back, that 7% keeps compounding. It is tremendous. When I look back at 20 years, and every year, I know how much I've made every single year. And it was very small in the beginning, and it grew slowly. But if you keep growing 10, 15, 20, 30%, it gets really big by the time you've accumulated enough years under your belt, and then you've learned as well how to handle it. So grow organically. Number 4, clear your calendar. Nobody said it better than, I forgot his name, Ryan something, Halliday, I forgot. Look it up on Google. It's called Calendar Anorexia. And then a little monologue of it was done by Casey Neistat. It's a fantastic piece of, it's an essay basically, of how you want your calendar empty. I love my calendar empty. When I look at my calendar in the morning and I flip through my phone, I see, oh, I got a meeting at 11, I got a meeting at 12. I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to run my business when all I'm in is meetings? And of course, there's things I have to get done. Of course, I still do everything with my kids that I can, my wife, family, etc. Always make time for that. You know, you have to. But as far as business things, I get solicitations on the daily. You know, 50, click here, just 15 minutes. We need you 30 minutes. Mark, we see you left $80,000 on the table last week. I don't know where the hell they get these numbers. You know, come on and join us. We're going to talk to you for a few minutes and talk about your sticky points. I'm like, just delete. Leave me alone. I need time to run my business for myself. So I like to see, when I open my account, I like to see I have nothing going on that day. So I have time for me to take a run where my head is clear and I can think of things to grow the business further. And just as in the essay that I referenced, it was really a creator's monologue, if you will, because they need time to create. I'm not really a creator on YouTube, very slightly, but I'm running a business and I need my time to run the business. Don't make me waste my time on your time. So if you're going to ask for my time, it better be really good. Number 5, I talked about following a passion. Eventually, if you hire people or consultants or whatever, you need to surround yourself with people that are passionate as well. It doesn't have to be passionate about the same thing that you are, although obviously it would help, but they have to be people that are passionate about something. And passion for working, for bettering themselves, for helping out, because that passion will definitely come out in their work, and you will definitely reap the benefits of passion. You know, any training or like, let's say I hired somebody that doesn't know watches, you'll learn about watches on the job for sure, but you better be passionate about it, so that you are interested, focused. And when you're passionate, it definitely shows in your work and your capabilities. So I just feel like, you know, passion and also following just kind of the same core values as you, whatever your core values are. It doesn't have to be my core values. My core values pretty much are work, work, work. Work till you're tired and then work some more. But it doesn't have to be your values. You need to find out what your values are, and you want to kind of surround yourself with people that share them, because it kind of just makes everything a little bit better. Number 6, I like to call it don't mortgage the house. It kind of goes with grow organically and run lean, but don't go mortgaging your house on your idea or your business until you're really sure it's going to succeed. Because let's face it, most small businesses do not succeed. If you listen to serial entrepreneurs talk, they may launch, I'm talking real serial entrepreneurs, they may launch 50 businesses and only 10% of them succeed. Of course, those successes far outweigh the failures, but most are going to fail. And if you bet big, you're going to lose big. So like I said at the beginning, lean and organic, small. Not saying do what I did. Again, just my examples. I started the business with $700. $700, 10 watches, $70 each, imported, and I took that amount and I kept parlaying it back into the business. I've never once taken outside money. Everything that I have is mine. I don't owe anybody anything, to the point now where I can fund much larger projects. I have a good war chest in case times get slow and everything else. So please, for your sake and everyone else's sake, don't mortgage the house. Number 7. This is an interesting one. I'm not sure I can go either way on it because I don't want to stifle creativity. But this comes from someone I used to someone I used to know in the banking industry. And he would say to me, you know, Mark, if there's a space that's really crowded, like meaning some kind of, niche or business area that's really crowded, there's probably room for another person. But if you have an idea and nobody's doing it, that might mean the market doesn't exist for it and you're barking up the wrong tree. I hate saying that because that means you're stifling creativity, because people that have created these things from nothing, and look at any of the tremendous companies nowadays, they had an idea that no one else was doing. But those are so far few in between. Again, I'm an engineer, I hedge my bets. Do something a little more popular. If you look and 50 people are selling hats for rats, then maybe there's room for 51st person to make hats for rats. But if you look and no one makes, I don't know where I'm getting this stuff, guys, hats for rabbits? Although I did get a rabbit a few months ago. Then maybe hats for rabbits is not the best idea for a business. So just kind of take that into consideration in your mind. But I guess it's more towards the busy side. When people say, "Oh, everyone's got a business doing it." Well, if everyone's got a business doing that, and everyone's still there, then maybe there's room. There should be room for one more person, you, to go in and do that same thing, and then differentiate yourself. What is your delineator? This should really be like a number 11 at the end, but I didn't. But you have to figure out, what's your differentiator to make you stand out if you are in a crowd. For me, I feel like the differentiator in the beginning was the attentiveness to customer service and being fast on the email replies, on the requests, fast on the shipping, everything that we could do to kind of put ourselves above the competitors, and then of course putting out educational content on YouTube, like the Watch and Learn series, this and that. That kind of just brings people into the store, and that's all free knowledge that's out there. So yeah, if it's crowded, maybe there's room for you. Number 8, my accountant said this one right when I started the business. So we're going back now. We're going back a long time, like 19 years or so. He said, "Mark," he knew I was starting this business. And he goes, first of all, he goes, "You don't have a business." He goes, "You have a hobby." He goes, but then I was very happy, and a few years later when I came back and he said, "You have a business now." Anyway, plan for success. What the hell does that mean? I started the business selling on eBay. I started on an Excel spreadsheet. Date, model, SKU, cost of goods sold, revenue, PayPal's take, eBay's take, take at the end of the day, receipt sent, email, all that stuff. And it was it was a mess. So plan for success means get tools now to handle your growth later. I got into QuickBooks in the early 2000s for my business, and it's software that has grown with my business. I'm now at an enterprise level in the software, so nowhere near where I was back then, but the same file is the same file that existed 20 years ago. So that software grew with me. Web shops now all grow with you, whether it be Shopify, BigCom, Magento, will grow. But you just have to make sure that whatever tools you put into place can grow with you. Because what happens is you get so ingrained in those tools that when someone says to you, "Hey, Mark, you got to get out of this thing because you're too big for it. You need this other thing." You go, "Oh my God, I have everything in there. How the hell am I going to get everything out and put it in here?" And this is kind of akin to when I switched shopping carts back in February of this year. I had everything in that one shopping cart platform, but I was just getting too big for it. It wasn't for me anymore. I needed to move on to something else. And I was like, wow, and that was a massive undertaking of many smart people, programs, developers, artists, graphic people, etc. To get me to where I am today and kind of not miss a hoofbeat in the process. But yeah, so pick tools that will certainly grow with you. Number 9, is that what we're up to already? Yeah, 9. They're all next to me here. I already forgot what it was. Take advice. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's back up before I even tell you what it is. When I started, this is now, so I'm going back a long time ago, 15 years, and I was still working my other job. I was an aerospace engineer. people knew what I did on the side. It was a side gig selling. I'd come home at night and go hit the spare bedroom and work for a few hours. And after kids were born, I'd play with the kids, put them to bed, then go to work. I worked tirelessly. But people say, "Hey, Mark, you stop me in the hall, or you know what you need to do with your business?" And I'm like, "What do I need to do? Tell me. I can't wait to hear what nugget of wisdom you have to bestow upon me." Right? Usually it was something useless. So my advice for number 9 is take advice from smart people, and I guess I'll get into this afterwards, the customers. Let's talk about smart people first. My uncle has a great expression: you don't ask a fat person how to get thin. Why would I be taking entrepreneurial advice from people who are in a job just like I am and have not branched out on their own? You need to take advice from people, I guess kind of like myself, that have gone through what you are going through. And from that, hopefully, you can glean the best kind of content that you need for yourself to grow further. It just makes perfect sense, right? Don't ask a fat person how to get thin. Don't ask someone in your same position how to grow a business. Unsolicited advice will come at you from all corners of your life. Ignore most of it and kind of listen to just some of it. But then my other thing is listen to your customers. I think the best person I can listen to now in this job is my customer base. When the SKX was, reformulated into the 5KX, I listened. You guys said exactly what you wanted, and I gave you what you wanted, and it happened to be the biggest success of my life at this point, biggest financial success. So it's just listening to what your customer, because your customers, especially in today's social climate, social media and stuff, they tell you exactly what they want. Make this. Well, if enough people say, and guys, I'm reading, I'm reading, I'm listening. If enough people say make this, I'm going to make this. Because guess what? They already said they want it. It's going to sell. So know who you're taking advice from. Number 10, probably the most controversial. This one really isn't for the starting out entrepreneur, more than likely. It's more once you're a little bit established. But I say this: if you do not enjoy a task, do not do it. Pay someone else to do it. As long as you can make more money while they're doing that task than you do make doing your task, right? I use primary example is mowing a lawn. At my prior house and where I am now, I never mowed the lawn. I figured if I can pay someone to do it, and while they're doing it, I can be working Island Watch, selling watches, and making more money than it costs me to pay someone. Why wouldn't I do it? Of course, if I enjoyed mowing my lawn, then great. I love the outdoors. I love pushing the mower. I love the smell of fumes in my face. I don't get that one. So these are things that, cleaning your house, another prime example. You can get a cleaning person and they can do it for you while you can go and work on growing your business and making more money. It's all amount of in and out, right? Why should I spend my precious time? This goes back to calendar anorexia and stuff. This is my time. I need this time to create, to make money, to run a business. Don't bog me down with crap that I really don't want to do, and I can get someone else to do it, and they're happy doing it because they're making a wage just like I'm making a wage, and it just makes more financial sense to me. That's it. Those are my 10 points. I'll list them on the screen here. Take them as you want, one at a time. You say I'm nuts, whatever. But these are just things that I've gleaned from, again, my history of being in business for 20 some odd years. Don't forget, before I was selling watches, I was working full time as an engineer, in a big corporation. So I know what it's like to be a number in a company. I worked for a company that employed 40,000 people in North America, 100,000 people worldwide. So I kind of get what it's like, but I just, like my father owned his own hardware store in Manhattan. I just knew that working for someone else, though I loved my boss, great guy, I just couldn't do it. I needed to be on my own, doing my own thing, and that's what I'm doing today. So I hope you found it interesting. This is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com giving you some business knowledge. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.